Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Today I want to test if a budget version of one of my favorite tools is going to be just as good as the pricier competition. So let's go ahead and get into that on Tinker with Tools. Alright, so in last week's video I tested the second generation of the Bosch FlexiClick on their 18-volt platform, and I absolutely love this tool. And I think a lot of other people do like it as well, but one thing that is a sticking point for quite a few of you commenters was the price overall. At a $400 base price for the kit, that is an expensive item, especially where some people consider this to be more of a secondary tool. But luckily one of the commenters pointed out that Skil actually makes a version of this tool on their 20-volt platform that is going to offer you a lot of the same functionality, but at a vastly lower price. So then the official name of the tool is going to be the Skil Compact Multi-Head Drill Driver Kit, and it is on their 20-volt platform. While I've reviewed and tested a number of different tools on their 12-volt platform, this is actually going to be the first tool on their 20-volt platform that I bring to the channel. Now the tool does come in a soft walled bag, but there is some rigidity to it. It's not just a plain standard tool bag, and inside there's going to be a foam cutout where you're going to have a different spot for each one of the different chucks or heads of this tool, along with charger and a spare battery. Overall, the case was a nice surprise at the price point, and certainly a plus in my opinion. Now with the drill body itself, you are getting 450 inch-pounds of torque in this tool, and that is going to be a plus over what I'd consider to be standard with most of the 12-volt variants of this type of tool, but it is not on the level of that Bosch. I'm telling you that just more for information, not because I actually expect this to necessarily outperform the Bosch, just kind of setting the standard for where it falls. There's going to be 1800 max RPMs in speed 2, 500 in speed 1. With the rest of the tool, it is 2 speeds and does have an adjustable clutch like you would see on a lot of these different tools. Now as we go through kind of the different heads that you're going to have, it does have a 1/4 inch hex collet. Now this is not quick insert in terms of being able to stick the bit in, neither was the Bosch. The drill chuck, for example, though, is going to be a 3/8 inch drill chuck, and I think that starts to paint the picture of maybe where they kind of view the capacity of this tool. It's certainly not going to be rated for things that are going to be as heavy duty as what you'd see if they're including a 1/2 inch chuck in this. This is going to be more comparable to the 12-volt competition there. As far as the offset goes, it is really quite standard with what you see. The build quality feels fine. It's just not going to be as robust as what I'm used to with the Bosch. The right angle attachment, where the Bosch employs kind of having a full drill chuck on the end of the right angle, this is going to be what you're going to see more from a lot of the different competition, where you're just going to have a right angle attachment, and then you can go ahead and put any of the other attachments, whether it's the drill chuck or the 1/4 inch hex, onto there, and now you've got the ability to use it with a variety of bits. Overall, the build quality of the attachments, there is a decent amount of plastic in them, but they don't feel cheap necessarily. They're just not as robust as that more premium option. I will say though that the fit and finish of how some of these mount on, it does feel like maybe the tolerances are just a little bit too tight in my opinion. Once you get them on there, they fit just fine, but overall I have noticed that sometimes they're just a little difficult to get seated onto the tool. Now down here on the base of the tool, you do have a control for the light, where you can actually turn it on and it will stay on for 10 minutes, or you can turn it off. The light itself is going to be kind of a full bar of LEDs, and it does provide a good amount of light, but it is still at the base of the tool, so you're not going to have as good of light as what you'd get from some of the newer impact drivers, for example. But definitely in this class, it is going to be a premium over what you get with the Bosch, where you're just getting a single LED, so it's nice to see them doing something there to add value. Now when it comes to the batteries in this kit, you're getting a single 2 amp hour battery, and right up front you're going to notice that it has a USB-C port on it. That is synonymous with all of Skil's batteries, and in my opinion that is an excellent feature to have, because it means you can go ahead and use this as a battery bank for your phone or your tablet. It's a nice little added feature that they put on all their batteries, and I really like it. With this one out of the box though, that is also going to be your charging option for this. That's right, it is going to be charging via USB-C, and they do have an included 45-watt brick in this kit for you to use, and a cable that you're going to be able to charge it with. Now I go back and forth on whether or not I like that standard for charging. On one hand, it does allow you to charge it with any of your kind of known chargers, and so maybe you're just going to have more chargers for this. I typically find myself wishing I had a standalone charger, and for Skil's 20-volt platform, you can go ahead and buy those. They just then come at an added cost. And then the price on this kit, as I mentioned earlier, it is significantly less. That's right, it's $149 for this kit compared to the $400 for the Bosch. Now I get that there's some differences between the kit just in general. This is a single 2 amp hour battery, that has dual 4 amp hour batteries, but overall it's a decent value at the price point, and a $250 price difference really kind of helps go a long way towards making me forget about some of those differences. And overall, they give you a nice case with it, and so I think that does go a long way towards making it feel like a value. All right, so then with the performance testing today, what I want to do is I want to compare this to the same tests that we did in that last video, and you are going to see I am just reusing those tests where it was just a week ago, same testing material. I didn't feel the need to retest this, so you will see a difference in the outfit between the two different drills. Overall, I get that I'm going to push the Skil beyond what maybe is reasonable for what a lot of you are going to use it for. Really, that's just to kind of show how it does compare against a much pricier tool and what the actual difference is. So just keep that in mind as you watch those tests. So I really think that performance testing just kind of further cemented in my mind that these are not truly comparable tools in terms of power and performance. I didn't necessarily think that going into it, but on the driving test alone, the Skil was 2.5 times longer to drive the same fast as what you're seeing with the Bosch. The drilling testing was a little bit better, where you were able to see the drilling kind of keep pace a little bit more, but it was still 2 times longer. And so overall, you're just seeing that this is just not as performant of a tool. Now, it should be noted that as I kind of focus on some of the smaller fasteners, for example, the 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch drill bits, and then maybe the 3 and 4 inch screws and kind of keeping it under there was just about a 30 to 50% difference between the two tools. But even that is still a considerable performance difference. So then after using the tool for a little bit And kind of starting to think about it more and more, I kind of found myself asking, why didn't they release this tool on their 12 volt platform? And so I decided I want to see how it would compare to a 12 volt tool and see if that felt like a more natural comparison point. So what I did is I went ahead and took the Bosch 12 volt brushless FlexiClick and ran it through the same test. And as I started to look at those results, that's where it really starts to maybe find its more natural comparison point. On the driving testing, the Skil was faster than that tool. It is more powerful, for example, but it was only about 8.5% faster across all those different fasteners. The drilling test was a little bit more exaggerated. There was a 14% performance gap in the drilling test, but overall, I found this tool is much more comparable in performance to the 12 volt competition. And so that, like I said, it just starts to further cement in my mind, why didn't they make this a 12 volt tool? Their 12 volt drill option offers, I think, 400 inch-pounds or right around there, maybe 375 inch-pounds of torque. The Skil 12 volt tools are not bad tools by any means. And for the price that they offer, they actually are maybe the second best option in 12 volt for the tools that they offer. So I just think that this tool maybe had a more natural home on that 12 volt lineup. Now, while I wish that Skil would maybe listen and release a 12 volt version of this tool, I don't necessarily have my hopes up that that's what's going to happen. So as it stands, how does it rate as a 20 volt tool? Well, I think if all you need is something that's going to offer the versatility of this and it's going to be for lighter duty tasks, then this can be the tool for you. If you're expecting it to have significantly more performance than a 12 volt option though, I think that's where it falls a little bit on its face. And that's maybe where I might recommend you go with the 12 volt options. There's a lot of different ones to choose from and offer you similar, good enough performance to do those lighter duty tasks in a much smaller package. So at the end of the day, I think that this as a 20 volt tool just doesn't make quite as much sense, even if it is a nice kit, nice value at $149 and a good budget alternative to something like the Bosch. I just think it had a more natural home with that 12 volt lineup. So there you have it. That is the review of the Skil 20 volt multi-head drill driver. If you have any questions or comments about it, please leave them in the comments down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Make sure to turn on notifications so you get notified when I put out new content. And until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.